What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I'm here with Anthony and Mike, and we are talking about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Woo! That's all I can say when I came out of that movie was like, whoa. Whoa. Like, that was 2 hours of just nonstop, mind-blowing, whoa. What did y'all think?
Yeah.
Like, first impressions, what did you think?
I really liked it. There was so much stuff going on, and I was worried that since it was a shorter Marvel movie, I mean, comparatively in Marvel terms, this was a shorter movie.
Right.
I was like, how are they going to get everything in? But the way the answer was, they went from jump. As soon as the movie started, they were like, all right, let's go. There was no pretense. There was no somebody walking down the side of the road looking up and seeing Doctor Strange running past them or some shit like that. They went right to the action, and I have to confess, like the whole Illuminati thing. I think as soon as I heard Professor X's voice, I was like, okay, the Illuminati is gonna be there, and I was like, so I knew who the Illuminati is in the comics. But I was like, so how are they going? I don't know how they were going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that Reed Richards was going to be in there, but I didn't know who it was going to be. The fact when I saw, because you were there, and it's like when he showed up, when John Krasinski materialized on that screen,
our whole theater went nuts.
It was an explosion.
The whole theater went nuts. But here's the thing, even with all of that exclamations and everything, I'm sitting in the middle of the theater, like literally I'm on the floor sprawled out with my legs because I didn't want to sit. It was a free screening that we went to, and there were a lot of people there. I was sitting with some friends that were on that row. Mike and
Team Copeland.
Front. Yeah. Hey, Team Copeland. Mike and Michelle were up front, and I was like, I can't sit by myself and watch this. I was like, no, I'm just going to sit on the floor. My legs were hurting anyway. I was like, I can just sprawl out, lay my legs flat. I'll be good. So in the midst of all this, I'm in the middle of the theater. Everybody starts shouting. I very distinctly hear Mike all the way in the front of the theater. I was like, yep.
Yeah,
I was been waiting for.
And the thing is like, this is kind of like with the last episode of the first season of Mandalorian, when I got spoiled that Luke was going to be there at the end, and I still went crazy when I saw him. Mm-hmm. I actually, like that day, I was scrolling through YouTube, and you know how YouTube gives previews of stuff, and I saw a preview of him in there. I was like, I tried to scroll past it, but I was like, damn it. But
I stayed on YouTube.
Yeah, he killed that shit. I was impressed. I was like, he's got to come back, and I'm like, he did a hell of a job. I'm glad they brought back Mama Rambeau for Captain Marvel, and I'm still wondering, like, I mean, because now with everything that they did with the Illuminati, it's like, What If is basically canon now. It's like everything that happened in What If is fair game.
I said that when What If came out, that it was going to be canon.
We have said that before, but I guess this is like the confirmation.
It basically proved it. And shout out to Sam Raimi for injecting just enough horror into this movie. Like there were the scene where they were running from Wanda in the tunnels. I was sitting there like trying to hold on to my manhood while kind of jumping like this and going
that was just like zombie Wanda in What If. It was it was like almost the same thing.
I was looking at that like, how are y'all letting this limp-legged woman catch up with y'all? And she was doing it fast, and she had it was amazing.
It was like Carrie. It was also like Carrie.
Yeah, it was a lot of Carrie throwbacks. Yeah,
Carrie feel.
Like, wow. Yeah, this was a good movie. I still kind of felt like I needed a little bit more at the end, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was a good movie.
What about you, Ant?
I thought it was amazing. I wouldn't say it was like the best Marvel movie, but it's up there. It was pretty good. I'm like Mike. I like from the jump. It was like action sequence after action. We got like a couple of lulls, but most of the time it was like this incredible chase movie. That's what it was. It was like
yes,
yeah. It was, and you know Sam Raimi. I'm not the biggest Sam Raimi fan, but this movie was definitely all him. Like there was Evil Dead in it. There was Drag Me to Hell was in it. It was all of that, and I don't know. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I think I need to see it again because the more I think about it, I keep coming up with more and more plot holes. And then I was talking to one of my coworkers today who saw it. He's not a big Marvel fan, but he watches all of it. He started asking me questions, and I was like, I didn't think about that. He just kept asking me question after question, like, why didn't they do this? Why wasn't this person there? Why didn't he do this? Why did this? And I was like, oh wow, I didn't think of any of that stuff. So I have to see it again because he was poking some pretty big holes in it. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I enjoyed it,
especially going forward into what like we know Secret Invasion is coming,
right?
And I think eventually Secret Wars, and we got all. I mean, we basically have the foundation for Secret Wars in this movie. Like the whole universe is imploding and all that stuff. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and I mean the whole ending with his soon to be wife showing up out of nowhere after he opened his third eye, and is like, and I was like, where the hell is this going to lead? I was like, this is good. They're definitely like making more paths. And one more thing, was it just me? I keep thinking, the more I keep thinking about it, the more I think that maybe it was a theory of mine or someone else said it. For some reason, I was expecting Loki to show up.
I think that was just people speculating because, of course, with these shows last year, you know, you had WandaVision, you had Loki, you had Spider-Man No Way Home. You know, all of those explored the multiverse. So right. I think going into this, like we knew Doctor Strange was dealing with the multiverse, but we didn't know what the source was, you know, right. So it could have been just a continuation of WandaVision, which it kind of sort of mostly was, because I mean, it was a Doctor Strange movie, but this was Wanda's movie, you know?
Right.
And then, you know, we had that little brief mention of Spider-Man there, which also shows that, okay, yeah, he's dealt with the multiverse a little bit, but there was nothing for Loki yet. And I was actually surprised about that, but I was like, oh, okay, so that means that's going to be you know, I think the Loki thing is probably going to get bigger when they do season 2. But yeah, I think that was just kind of speculation for everyone because nobody exactly knew what was going on. Like we didn't even really know that Wanda was the ultimate big bag for this movie until we saw this movie. Like we knew that there were some issues. We knew that she was feeling salty about some things, but I didn't expect her to be the big bad for this film. And then for them to reveal that so early on in the film, I was just like, oh, this is what we're doing.
It's like when she said America, Michelle leaned over to me, she was like, he didn't say anything to her about that. I was like, damn, he didn't. Oh shit, let's get ready to go down like now right now.
That was my thought when she said America. I said, oh, this is what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah. And then when she
behind me gasped like when she stopped and she was like, you didn't tell me her name. No, I didn't. Everybody was like, oh. I was like, y'all didn't catch that? What?
Right. And then she did the sweep around with where the dark hole that like made everything dark. I was like, oh fuck. Like
that shit. Was when I kind of knew. I was like, okay, I don't think we're dealing with like Wanda. I just knew that something was going to be different about her. And then of course, you know, we see that revealed throughout in the movie that pretty much Wanda has been kind of tucked away in this little corner, and the Scarlet Witch corrupted by the Darkhold is, you know, the prominent, I guess you could say, persona, because I really looked at it, you know, especially coming fresh off of Moon Knight. You know, the season finale was that same day. I watched it the next morning, but I was like, I'm getting such Steven and Jake vibes here, but in like reverse. Like Jake would be, Jake would be, and I'm specifically saying Jake because of, we know, you know, he's the violent one of the three. But I'm like, yeah, this is like Jake and Steven locked in away. Like Mark has learned to embrace Steven. Jake, I think, would be like, no, you go sit your ass down and let me handle this. That's how I looked at it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so interesting. And then to see what her character does throughout the whole movie, I was just sitting there like,
when she attacked the stronghold, like she was like that whole scene, like from the start where she was trying to break through, where she like found the weak link in there and exploited him, to the part where he put her in the mirrorverse and she found her way out of that shit.
When she was crawling out, that
See,
was all
Sam
Sam
Raimi
Raimi
shit. That's that Sam
Raimi. It was all
shit.
Sam Raimi. Because he didn't have to do that. She didn't have to come out like that. But
I was like, oh,
that.
I was like, that made my skin crawl a little bit. I was like,
but even the way that she kind of got into that dude's head, like, you know, she's sitting there, she's kind of scanning, and Doctor Strange realizes, he's like, she's trying to get into their minds. And you see that one guy, I was like, I kept wondering why they would just like, you would see the camera just focus on him. I'm like, who the hell is he? And why are they focusing on him? Oh, because he's the weak link. But when she appears from behind him, and it's kind of that, you know, that little horror thing where the scary monster does this little fast thing and then it's slow motion. I was like, nah, I'm fucking with y'all. I'm not fucking with y'all. No.
That's similar to what she did in
Ultron.
In Ultron, Age of Ultron, yeah.
But it was way more creepy in this. Yeah. Way more. Because when she did that, literally half the theater went, oh fuck, or hell no. It was like one of those, like, you don't expect to be that kind of scary. I mean, because it wasn't anything that was really scary. It was just the way that she showed up, and she just looked at him and she just went, I was like, man.
I knew
the way he took off, I was like, yeah, I'd be running for my life too.
I knew they were in trouble when she told, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she told Steven, me sending the demons after her, that was me being merciful. I was like, oh shit. They're about to get fucked.
Right. Or what was it? Did she say merciful? No, what was the other word?
It was something like that.
That was me being reasonable or
reasonable.
Like
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay. And Dr. Strange was sitting there listening, but then when she said, wouldn't you know, if you just let me have her, I'll send you to a world where you can be with Christine. Dr. Strange was like, nope, nope. You know what? It was like, that was the one thing that kind of made him like, okay, no, you know what? Fight mode.
Right.
I was like, that, you know, watching Wanda in this film, and I know there's a lot of people who have had lots of debates about this. You know, I've been talking to Anthony about, you know, I was like, okay, we really need to either do a show or do a panel about characters and redemption arcs, because there's so much chatter right now in the Walking Dead universe with the character of Negan. You know, there are some people who say he's unredeemable. There are some people who are like, yeah, he's redeemable, and he didn't act in the wrong because of this, that, and the other. So it's like a huge debate. You've seen that with Theon Greyjoy. I was like, we got to add Wanda to that list. We need to have a discussion about her and everything that she has done.
This version of Wanda is not redeemable.
But see, that's the thing.
She is a mass murderer.
It's not Wanda. It's Scarlet Witch. And it's one
it's
of
really
those
the Darkhold.
Well, yeah, that too. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, do you punish the one character for what? There's so many things to unpack with Wanda. First of all, she's been dealing with nothing but trauma since she was a child, since her parents got killed. We got to see that backstory in WandaVision. We got to know a little bit of it in Age of Ultron, but this girl has been dealing with trauma from jump. And in that, she's been manipulated, she's been controlled. And then she hasn't had time to really process everything that's going on and deal with it in a healthy way. So it's no surprise that we got that. Because she hasn't had a chance to breathe like ever.
I'm going to do something Lori does sometimes. There's a character in the book series, Shannara Chronicles. If you remember that TV show, well, in the books, there's a character called Brianne Olmsford, who she was kidnapped as a child, and she was sort of corrupted by someone else. And she actually turned into like this really dark witch and was pretty evil. And she actually ended up somehow coming back to the good side and being in charge of the druids, who were the magic users, who were the good guys. And she actually became the High Druid. Oh. And there were some that remembered her when she was the witch, and they never really fully were convinced of how good she was.
Okay.
And eventually she sacrificed herself because she was like, there weren't enough people that were going to support her for the change and redemption she had, because she spent so many years doing so many terrible things. This reminded me of that, because it's almost, I'm not saying she can't be redeemed, but it's almost impossible. Luckily, most of her crimes were in other universes and not this universe, because in this universe, she just basically murked a lot of sorcerers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Carmitage was that was pretty significant.
But that's the sort of the only place they can kind of keep that quiet. But you combine that with the city that she took over, and it's going to be real hard for her to find her way back. And that's why I'm sort of glad that they're establishing this groundwork for the Secret Wars, because maybe that's when she'll return. If she survived, she'll return, and maybe she'll help them, against Kang or whatever.
Oh, when she survived.
That time comes.
I mean, of course she survived. It's the movie rule that we did not see her die. We didn't see the body. It's just like Kingpin in the finale of Hawkeye. Kingpin's coming back for Echo because we didn't see his body hit the ground. We didn't see her body in the rubble, so she ain't dead.
And not only that, when the rubble started coming down, you saw that flash of red light. I was like, oh yeah, that was Wanda getting the fuck out.
Yeah.
Or it was Mephisto getting her out. Mephisto confirmed again.
No.
Eventually it's going to happen, so I'm claiming it now.
No, I forgot what they demon. Chiton was the demon who wrote the Dark Old. No.
Chthon.
Is no.
Was he a black demon? I think I knew a Chthon.
That, you know what? I thought
Chthon
that Mike
Jenkins.
was going to wait.
But I said all that
Mike
to
was
say
gonna
that
wait a little bit longer before he made his Mephisto reference. Like, I knew it was coming. I just thought it was going to be a little bit further on in the show.
Look, hey, the movie didn't wait to start up. I'm not going to wait either. We're getting this shit popping. We're in it.
But that's all that to say that the redemption, it's going to be real difficult for her character to find any redemption, especially for the audience, after what she did to the Illuminati in, what was it, 838? After she,
let me tell
that's going to be tough.
So first of all, let's talk about the Illuminati, because we kind of got some spoilers during the trailers about who was going to make their appearance. Now I will say this, because I think I've heard some people, correct me if I'm wrong, Captain Carter is not a member of the Illuminati in the comics.
No. You have to remember that that's 838 Illuminati.
Right.
There's so many universes. She could be a member of theirs.
Okay.
But
that's what I'm saying.
In this one, she's not.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying, because there were some people who were kind of confused about, like, why is Captain Carter there? But my whole thing is, with her not being a part of it, I think the reveal would have been better if they had just left that shit out of the trailer, the final trailer, because that's when we got the reveal. I'm like, wait, I wasn't even expecting Captain Carter. Still seeing her there, it was, everybody reacted the way I thought they would, like they were cheers, whatever. But I think that there were some things they probably should have just held a little bit tighter to the vest. I mean, you already gave us Professor X. You
Yeah, but
know,
we have to remember, we have to wrap our heads around the fact that that's not our Captain Carter from What If.
right.
It's a different Captain Carter.
Yeah, I understand that. But I mean, just having her in it, period, you know, I think would have been a better surprise if they had just left it out of the trailer.
Yeah, because I didn't watch the last trailer for the movie, and I'm glad I didn't, because when I watched it afterwards, her shield is in it. I was like, see, that would have been a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, shout out to them giving Professor X his X-Men cartoon wheelchair.
And the theme song.
Yes, and they played, I actually caught that. I was like, oh, that's what we're doing. Okay.
Let me tell you, Danny Elfman killed this soundtrack.
Those guitar riffs that he kept throwing in there.
The whole symphony battle with Doctor Strange and the other.
That was fire.
What am I watching? But it is so I've never seen anything like that. But the music in this film, let me tell you, one thing with horror, now I'm not a big horror person. As I get older, I can't tolerate it as much. The music is always one of the things that gets you in a horror film. It's like, it's when you know someone's kind of creeping in the corners, or somebody's in the background, or you're about to get this jump scare. I got all the cues and was still scared out of my mind. Like, yo, And then for it to be Wanda, like, this is a character who I sympathize with as far as what she went through in WandaVision, and to see her in like full beast mode, like Wanda gave no fucks in this movie. She was like, I want my children. I want my children. And oh yes, I want my children. And if you don't give me my children, I'm going to fuck all of y'all up. Like, Wanda is that type of person. I said this when I did a roundtable on Saturday. I said Wanda is the epitome of a parent saying that they would kill for their kids. Wanda is the hold my beer version of that parent.
Yeah.
She gave no fucks in this movie. And even though it was horrifying, I was like, okay, give this woman her kid.
Yep, and she wasn't hearing anybody's back talk. Ask your boy Black Bolt about that.
Back talk. I see what you did there.
That shit, I was like, holy Matrix, like he was like, and why did he try to talk? He should have known that, and he should have known that shit wasn't going to work. He was trying to talk through it, and
he was
right. I think it was probably one of those, like, you know, you kind of get it. That was like a huge throwback to the Matrix, because that's what happens to Neo. And when Neo realizes he can't talk, what is he doing?
Yeah,
we already saw that wasn't gonna work with Black Bolt. So when his head exploded, I was just like, oh, dude, what we're doing.
Shout out to Kevin Feige for having the foresight of putting that actor from the Inhumans TV show as Black Bolt.
Right.
That was kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, give him a little more run. That was
Yeah, that's kind of cool. There's no hope for the show, but that was kind of cool because that show was terrible.
No.
Okay, but like we said, so we mentioned the Illuminati. So we got Black Bolt, we got Captain Carter, we got Maria Rambeau, and then we got Reed Richards. And I was sitting in the movie theater, first of all.
And Mordo. Don't forget about Mordo.
Oh, yeah.
And Mordo.
I'm gonna tell y'all now. Mordo. Okay, so
him and his Jim Jones cornrows.
I just rewatched Doctor Strange for the first time since the first time I watched it, and I was just like, I don't really like your character. I liked him even less in this movie. I was like, Mordo, go sit down somewhere. Don't nobody want to play with you. But Reed Richards. So we've been hearing rumors and fan casting for years about John Krasinski being Reed Richards. Like, everybody has been, like, the majority of the input I've seen from fans is like, yes, put him in there, make him Reed Richards, yes. And of course, you know, we get the standard, no, it's not, that's just the fan casting, no, it's not happening, I don't know what you guys are talking about, I have not talked to Marvel, whatever. You know what? After him and Andrew Garfield, I ain't believing none of y'all fuckers ever again.
No, at all.
And for
when
him,
he
he
showed up,
auditioned for Captain America before Chris Evans did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it was between the two of them,
it was
right?
between the two of them, right?
Okay.
And then after he didn't get that, he was like, okay, well, he has talked about being Reed Richards for a while. He had talked about it before, so this was
that manifestation came true. And I mean, when I say my whole theater went nuts, but then the other thing that I was thinking about was, well, at least one of Anthony's theories did come true. It came a little late, it came about a year late, but you did say something about Reed Richards, showing up, having to deal with the whole WandaVision thing. And technically speaking, like I said, even though this is a Doctor Strange movie, it was literally an extension of WandaVision. So whatever,
yeah,
you can take that shirt off because your theory was right, and it was,
that was back when I did theories. I don't do theories anymore.
Whatever. So I talked to a coworker of mine and Anthony's today, and he was telling me, I said, he said, I went to go see it. I said, what did you think? He said, Krasinski was perfect. He said, because he got Reed Richards. Like he said, Reed Richards is always a know-it-all. He's always an asshole. And he got it perfectly. He said, I looked at him and I was like, I like him in this role because he's making me not like Reed Richards, and that's how I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah. He is a little arrogant prick, but
he was so arrogant. He told Wanda exactly what Black Bolt's powers were.
Like, bruh.
No, the thing that really got me, because I'm excited to see these characters. Like, I don't know much about the Illuminati. Again, I have not read the comics, or I didn't read that far into like Marvel comics when I was a kid. So I only know of the Illuminati what you guys have talked about since we started discussing WandaVision. And so as I'm seeing people, of course I know Captain Carter, of course I know Captain Marvel, at least one version of her. And I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, oh, this is going to be exciting. And then when they're having their discussion with Doctor Strange, and he talks about how Wanda is going to come in and decimate, and Maria Rambeau says, with her Black girl next, she was like, oh, we can handle your little witch. I was like, damn, y'all finna die. That's literally what I thought. Like, why you have to say that? Why you have to say that? Because anytime somebody says, oh yeah, we can handle this, we can handle that. Oh, we have, no, you don't. And then to see Wanda come in and completely decimate everything. And what was it? I saw a meme today. They said Wanda came in there and kicked everybody's ass with no shoes and mom jeans on. Y'all can't fuck with her.
The fact that Krasinski tried to hit her, I'm like, she just sealed your homeboy's mouth up. What makes you think you're going to be able to touch her, much less grab her? What do you think? Even if you do grab her and tie her up, what's that going to do?
I was not expecting him to become shredded cheese, though.
Oh man, you can't string cheese. Yeah, she peeled him like string cheese. I was like, Polly, shit.
But what I couldn't understand, well, I know it's a movie, but like, I know Reed Richards is really smart, but all someone had to do was say, you know what? Let's deal with this witch thing first, and then we'll deal with you, Doctor Strange. Because maybe as a group, they may have, had a chance.
Well, they tried that. It was Mordo who was the asshole, who was like, oh no, we're going to keep him right here. Oh no, you can't trust. Even when Professor X is like, okay, so yeah, Doctor Strange, we got you locked up, but let me tell you, this is what you need to do. You got to get a handle on this and blah, blah, blah. And Mordo is like, Charles, we can't tell him this. We can't trust him. Charles is like, yeah, I think we can. I don't care what universe you are in. Charles Xavier knows what the fuck he's talking about. Just go with it.
If they all had combined efforts, they possibly could have stopped her. Like, distract her long enough to where Professor X could have done what he was trying to do. But we couldn't even get that.
Oh my God, poor Professor X. I was like that. I was like,
wait. Before we get to that one, we gotta talk about how she decimated everybody else. So we've already talked about Black Bolt. We've already talked about Reed Richards. That fight with her and Peggy was so good. So good. And then she had the Darth Maul Peggy. I was like they're sitting there fighting, they're going back and forth. And I don't know at what point Peggy didn't realize, like, look, this shield throwing thing is not going to work out in your favor. She's already caught it, I think twice at that point, and thrown it into the wall or thrown it. No. But when she turned around and she threw it, and you just see it go towards Peggy, and you just see her, I was like, did she just split her in half? Like, okay. Maria Rambo, you might want to get the fuck out of here, but no. She had to keep trying. And like you said, maybe if once everybody else was dead, if she had gone to find Charles and she had been the distraction while Charles was trying to, you know, invade her mind. And then, of course, we saw when he was inside her mind, she had Wanda tucked away in kind of like a little prison. And Charles is like, your mind is being controlled by your ultimate self. And Wanda was looking like, oh shit, she's trying to get out, but there's no distraction. You know, Wanda is just as powerful as him mind-wise at this point. Like we've seen, nothing affects her, nothing can take her out. Why would you go into her mind and not have protection? I was so disappointed because when she came up and she broke his neck, and correct me if I'm wrong, was it like zombie Wanda that broke his neck? Yeah. Like, was it okay, that's what I thought. And I was just like,
it was the Darkhold corrupted.
Right.
Wanda.
Yeah, it's a corrupt one.
Yeah. But she didn't look like the regular Scarlet Witch. Like she looked,
I think that was the corrupted Wanda.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, wow, y'all really put them in a minute. I mean, in the movie here for like what, all of 10 minutes, maybe. Yeah, I don't even think it was 15 for all of 10 minutes, and then they're all dead. One, it shows how powerful Wanda was, but two, I feel like, okay, we'll see those characters again. So I was like, oh, okay, well, you know what? No time to mourn. She's about to go kill this kid. Speaking of which, let's talk about America Chavez. Because we literally opened up the film with her. And pretty much in the film with her, I thought she was amazing.
Yeah, Xochitl Gomez, she was outstanding. I had to put that in there because I learned how to pronounce her name, and I feel very proud of myself.
Good. I'm glad, because I was looking, I was like, I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce that. But she was
really good.
You know, and it wasn't, you know, sometimes when we get introduced to new characters in films with established characters, a lot of people will be like, okay, well, we saw too much of that person. We didn't need to see enough of them. I mean, as much of them. But I like the way that they wove her story in with Doctor Strange's. And then it's like, even though the movie was about Wanda, it was also about her. And, you know, when you think about it, the name of the movie is Doctor Strange in the Multitude of Madness, not Doctor Strange and the Multitude of Madness. And it's kind of like, okay, yeah. So Doctor Strange is multiverse, yes. And it's kind of like, okay, yeah, Doctor Strange, this is his movie, but he's dealing with this factor on the left and he's dealing with this factor on the right. And both of these factors are contributing to this multiverse of madness, like the way that they kind of went through the different multiverses. I loved that because there were such stark differences to each of them. That paint one was weird.
Yeah.
I was like, huh?
That was like the fight between, was that Ultron and Uatu in What If?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And What If Ultron won, where he just kept going through him and through him and through him.
Mm-hmm. But I loved it because you even got to see an animated version of the multiverse in this film. But going back to America, you have this kid who has the ability to control or basically she can travel through the multiverse. And at the beginning of the movie, she doesn't know how to control it. And that's like one of the main problems in this film. But, you know, just the fact that Doctor Strange, I think seeing the evolution of his character, and seeing how when he meets her, he's kind of like impatient. When they go through the different multiverses, he's like, oh, you've got to get us back. And she's like, I don't know how to control it. What do you mean? You're going to have to learn, because if it was me. And then he kind of stops. I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? We're not going to take that route. Okay, kid, we'll figure this out. I was like, oh, this is a different Doctor Strange. And you kind of see, like I said, I just rewatched the first Doctor Strange. So to see him from being from that person, where the only reason why he went to Carmitage was to try to fix his hand so that he could go be great doing what he was not, used to doing. And to see kind of his progression through the MCU, meeting Peter and being like, okay, you know what? If this doesn't work, Thanos can snap both of y'all and I don't care, or he can kill both of y'all and I don't care. To seeing him trying to help Peter in the last, in Spider-Man No Way Home, and actually feeling emotional about the fact that, hey, I'm not going to remember you after I do this spell. To see him help this kid who doesn't know her powers, doesn't know how to control it, is all alone. The one person that she knew, which is another version of him, betrayed her. Just watching that progression and that relationship build, I was like, oh, okay, I like this. Because I feel like she kind of grounded him a little bit in this film, as well as, seeing her kind of learn to embrace her powers and learn to control them with his encouragement. I loved her being in this film. I was like, okay, so when are we getting her next? Huh? Young Avengers, are they doing? Oh, okay, no news yet. Okay, we'll figure it out. But yeah, I loved her in this.
Was she in Young Avengers, Aunt?
Yes.
That's what all the research I did said.
Yes.
So they're heavy setting up Young Avengers. So
yeah, but it seems like by the time they get to it, they won't be young anymore.
I'm saying they're gonna be old Avengers.
They're gonna be old. They're gonna be the next Avengers. That
be regular Avengers.
CGI and digital image editing is has come a long way.
I actually wouldn't mind seeing. I want to see how they do it, because I mean, technically, she didn't bring Tommy and Billy back because they're still with Wanda. They're not with Scarlet Witch, and Scarlet Witch is dead / not dead. So it's like they're still in whatever universe they are. So they still have to get together in the same universe as everybody, and they still have to get all the rest of everybody else together. So, but I mean, they're doing so much to set it up. They're like bringing the characters together that there has to be something to them actually getting ready to do that at some point. Like whether they're going to be the new Avengers instead of the Young Avengers, but at some point it's got to happen.
Well, Feige already said there isn't going to be another Avengers. So,
well,
they also said Krasinski wasn't going to be Reed. They also said Andrew Garfield wasn't going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm not paying no attention to anything they say.
I mean, he's not going to do it like in the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah, because he has too much shit to do.
I'm just like, at this point, I'm just here for the ride. Like, y'all just throw whatever y'all throw at me. It's MCU, it's Marvel, it's Kevin Feige. I'm gonna watch it. So whatever, whether they do it a year from now or 10 years from now, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
that's 2032. That's the plan. It's gonna culminate. That's 10 years.
10-year plan.
So we'll see. But there was something else I wanted to talk about. Those freaking kids are adorable. Please put them on our screens again. Billy and Tommy, they are so freaking.
They had to film those scenes when they were doing WandaVision.
They had to,
because boys grow so fast.
Different now.
Yeah,
like weeds. Yeah. But I mean, they know how to age themselves. So I mean, they could have explained it like that. Like I feel like being 15. Whoop.
Here's the other thing I did want to mention. So way back when we started covering WandaVision and we were talking about the Disney Plus shows, I think I remember Anthony saying something about how the Disney Plus shows were not going to affect the movies, and the people who watch the shows will probably not watch the films and vice versa.
I didn't say affect. I didn't say affect.
That does sound familiar, though.
But sounds I did not say effect.
I'm gonna go back.
You did say something to that effect, though.
To that effect, but not that effect. But the thing is, though, you wouldn't have had to have watched any of the Disney Plus shows to understand what was happening in this movie.
No, I think WandaVision
No, I
is an
disagree.
absolute
I
must.
disagree.
Because I mean,
No,
because if you
I think they gave you enough to know that they basically explained that Wanda lost her kids and she has found them somewhere else in the multiverse and she's trying to get
but
they
how would you
explained that
know
very
that?
well. You don't need to see WandaVision. The only question he was having is where the fuck is Vision? Like, why isn't he
No.
trying to figure out how
But
to
Well,
stop
no,
it?
because-
But Vision is dead, right? So whatever, you know, y'all can believe, you know, whatever I was saying, but I'm telling you,
because if I was a person,
we're to see, I've talked to someone who hadn't seen any of that stuff when they watched the movie. They understood what was going on completely. They didn't need to watch. You didn't need to watch the show, any of the shows, to understand what's happening in this movie. And I know y'all don't believe that, but that's only because we've seen the shows and it's hard for us to separate it. But people who have not seen the shows can watch this movie and know what's going on because it's not that complicated.
Someone who's only seen the movies is gonna come and be like, wait, when did Wanda have kids? Wanda didn't have kids in the movies. Where did they come from?
She said she had the kids because he talked about whatever. Okay,
yeah, exactly. She explained, but
no,
then
I'm not
gonna
gonna. No, I'm not gonna win. I'm not gonna win this argument, so I'm not gonna argue with you.
And then it's like they see
whatever.
Peggy Carter with a shield throwing shield like Cap. They're like, what the fuck is that?
So
they're not going to understand that.
They don't have to understand that.
They're not going to understand Doctor
It's not even the same.
It's not even
the same. It's not even the same Captain Carter.
But it's a Captain Carter. Even if it's been introduced, you're like, wait, when did she become Captain? When was she? When was
and
she
then
ever,
like, well, how's this black woman Captain Marvel?
That was in the movie. It was still the same woman. She wasn't in any of
I think y'all are not understanding what I'm saying. They give you enough information to where you don't, and this is what I said then. They're going to give people enough information to where they don't have to watch the shows. However, now that they've seen this, they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And if someone says, well, you know, if you go watch the episode about Captain Carter and What If, it would make a lot of sense. And they will go back, and what I said then is that they'll go back and watch the shows. But you don't need to have watched the shows to know what was happening in this show.
I feel like watching this film without watching that background will be like a master chef only using salt and pepper to cook and no other seasonings.
Like, and now I didn't say it wouldn't make the story more fulfilling, but you can still watch and enjoy it because she makes it very clear. I had children, they're gone, and I found them somewhere else in the multiverse. So the only question was have is, how did she have kids?
When? The question they have is when.
And how did she lose them? And
that would make the person go watch the shows. But all you need to know for the purposes of this one is that she wants them back.
See, I guess for me,
and then they're gonna be like, "What's the Darkhold?" Because there was no Darkhold in any of the movies.
That's what I'm saying. There was no book of vision. See, I'm telling you, the reason why it's hard for us to understand how that will work is because we've seen the shows. We've seen the shows, and it's hard for us to separate what we know from, if we can't pretend that we don't know it and then watch the movie. But I'm telling you, as a writer, if you watch the movie, Mike, you should be able to do this. You can watch the movie and see that they give you enough of the elements to where you don't have to watch the show. The shows, because the shows don't have that much of an impact on what is happening in this movie. But if you watch the shows, it's like Hanako said, it will make it more, it will flesh it out for you more.
But see, that's the part that because I don't want to walk into a movie and get half the story and then have to ask, well, what happened? Okay, so she said she have kids. When did she have kids? How did she lose her kids? Like all of this stuff that they're bringing up, I know you're coming to me about Westwood. I made mistakes and and then, even the comment she made about, the hex was easy. It was the line that was hard. I don't want to be sitting in a movie like, what the hell is a hex? Like, what is she talking about? It's like going in with half the information and you spend more time. Okay, I'm gonna put it like this. It's kind of like watching an adaptation of a novel. And you've read the novel before and you go to see the adaptation and you're like, this makes no sense. But somebody who is watching the adaptation and doesn't know like the little bitty Easter eggs or the backstory, they'll probably be like, okay, well, who is this person and why is this here? And what did I don't want to to do that. And I
No, you don't. But I'm saying the people who haven't seen that, they may ask a question, but as far as continuing to watch the movie, it's not something that's you're going to be so distracted by Black Bolt blowing his head out. You're not thinking about where her kids come from. And Sam Raimi's got you watching zombie Wanda walk around. You're not thinking about that stuff. And then he throws John Krasinski at you as Reed Richards. You're not thinking about a hex. You know what I'm saying?
Or the theory you made that he was going to show up. Yes, I got you.
Oh, Mephisto confirmed, right? Well, I'm still waiting on that to pay off. I'm gonna keep throwing
it out until it happens. It's gonna happen sooner or later.
That's probably.
But yeah, okay. And I see what you're saying. And
because and then like the people, let's just say people who didn't watch the show, who like maybe I don't know, watch Into the Spider-Verse, they'd be like, oh, this makes perfect sense because Into the Spider-Verse is all about the multiverse. So I mean, you can look at it however you want, but I'm going to stand by that they put just enough in to where, okay, if you didn't watch the shows, we're going to give you a little bit of information. You may have questions, but it's not going to keep you from really understanding what's happening in this movie, because the bottom line is she had kids at some point. She lost the kids and she found them in the multiverse, and now she's trying to get them back. Now, you may be like, okay, well, I need to know how that happened. Then you start asking questions and you go back and watch WandaVision. But for the immediate purpose of watching Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, it's not supposed to be Wanda's movie, but we know it sort of is Wanda's movie. But it's really not about her, it's really about him. So her stuff isn't as important as his stuff.
But when someone so say someone's sitting here watching the movie and then she starts talking about kids and they're like, kids, what kids? They're like, oh, well, she has those with Vision. With Vision, isn't Vision a robot? How'd they have kids? And they're like, oh God, it's a long story. And
no, what you do is you turn to the person, you say, shut up and watch the movie, because you don't have time to explain it to them why the movie is going on, because the movie is going and going and going. You don't have whatever, guys. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, yes, it will help you flesh out and understand more of what's going on. However, it's not necessarily needed to know what's happening in the movie at the moment.
I need that.
She had kids.
That exposition.
She lost the kids.
Like Mike said,
because that's the kind of people we are. But there's some people who don't need all that exposition.
You're talking about she had kids with Vision. Anybody who's watching the films,
but she never said she had kids with Vision.
Who else is she would have kids?
But she never. See, and some people they'll be like, oh, maybe she did have kids from someone else, but we don't know this. Tony? But it's not important because we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We really don't. But that's the point. The point is, as a person who hadn't watched WandaVision, that information is really not necessary. All you need to know is that at some point, Wanda had kids, and she doesn't have the kids anymore. And Dr. Strange said, but they weren't real. So then, okay, so she made up some kids, and she lost them somehow, and now she found them somewhere in the multiverse and is trying to get back to them. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know what happened all through WandaVision.
That just gave me it helps. I've seen WandaVision, and that explanation just gave me a headache. And I'm like, I don't even want to watch the movie now. Like I've seen WandaVision. I'm listening to that. I'm like, what? Wait,
that's what I'm saying. You don't. That's the point. That is the point. That is the point. It's not. It's noise to someone who hasn't seen it. But when you watch this movie, all you see is she had kids, she didn't have them, and now she wants to find them again. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. That's the story.
You call that simple?
But that's the story, though. Is that not the story? Is that not? I'm sorry. Is that not the story in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? Wanda had kids. She lost the kids, or they weren't real. She found them in the multiverse, and now she's trying to get back to them. And she explains it. And he's like, well, what are you going to do with Wanda when you find the kids? I don't know. Get rid of her. And what if the kids get sick? Well, that's the whole point. If I have her powers, I can go to the different multiverses and find a cure because there's a cure in there. See, she's giving you an explanation. You don't need to watch WandaVision to understand this is a woman who's trying to find her children. Period. It doesn't get any simpler than that.
On that because there's too many questions that you
only
ask.
Because we already know the answers.
Even if I didn't know the answers, if I was coming into this blind, I would be more curious about this character. Like, first of all, why are they making her such a big focus? Like,
and what would you do?
Focused on her.
And what would you do?
But why would I?
And what would you do? What would you do?
Go back.
What would you do?
That would irritate me.
If you are the type of person that wants to know the answers, that's what you would do. You would go back and watch.
That would irritate me. The fact that I have to go back and watch to get the backstory.
That means
I got to go and watch the movie again to get a full understanding of that.
No, they gave you enough. They gave. They gave you enough in the movie to understand what her motivation was.
No,
you don't need to watch all of WandaVision, because then you have to say, well, then they also needed to watch Loki too, and Loki wasn't even in the movie.
But see, I wouldn't have, because Loki wasn't in the movie, and
no, multiverse. What? Oh, okay.
I didn't even because I thought, if anything, I thought there would be more of a Spider-Man tie-in to Doctor Strange than there would be for Loki.
Yeah, I kept expecting to see Ned at Carmitage, like just in the background, like I got it.
That would have been funny. But I'm
honestly, we'll agree to disagree.
We're gonna have to, because I was almost there, but then I just started thinking, like, okay, how'd you have kids? Her and Vision did what?
But they never said Vision. They never said Vision.
But who else is gonna have kids with her?
See, the person with whom I live with by marriage, they suggested that, is it possible that when she created, was it Westview? Mm-hmm. And then she created the kids, that now that we know that we get glimpses of our lives in the multiverse, that she actually saw a life where she had kids and she recreated those children in Westview?
Yeah, but you're talking about Westview, something that people who only saw the movies would not know.
I'm on a different subject. I'm not talking about that anymore. We agreed to disagree. I have moved on. We're not talking about that anymore.
Okay.
But that could be where the idea for those particular kids came from, was because she had actually seen it in one of her dreams.
That was her ideal. I can get that.
Like she thought it was suggested to her by seeing a life where she actually had children, and so she recreated them here. Or shards of Mephisto trying to enter the world.
Exactly, just like in the comic books. Exactly.
But we also have to realize that the general population that has not watched, like, the TV shows and the movies, everything, they're not the type of people that's going to ask those type of questions. And no, I'm being real serious here. I've had conversations with people at my job. They don't think that hard about this stuff. They really, Hanako,
I can't relate.
There's a whole bunch of them that
I can't relate.
They don't think.
Not the ones that come in my office and talk. But
they don't. Well, that's different, because there's a reason they come and talk to you, because they sort of think like us.
Right. True.
Okay. See, you know what? I can actually give you that. Casual fans that only watch the movies probably don't really care about that much backstory. I can give you that. Since the movie started, like, instantly with all the action, they're probably just more interested in the action, everything that's going to happen, than really any true backstory. So they'll probably gloss over it for a second, but eventually they're going to come back and be like, wait, how'd you have kids?
No, I have a student whose favorite character is Doctor Strange, and she's only seen the movies where Doctor Strange appears. She saw this movie. She has absolutely no questions. She's like, "Oh, Doctor Strange is awesome. He's great. He's fantastic." Okay. And that America, she was great too. That was it. Like they didn't ask about Wanda and her kids because that
She
wasn't the
didn't care.
focus.
Okay, that you're talking about children. We're talking about. Okay, look, I can only speak. You know what? You're absolutely right. The way that I am, that Hanako is, that we are background driven and information driven, like, and you are, and, you know, it's like all three of us.
And that's
We're
also a
background
writer's
and
trait. Like that's something that we do as writers. So
right.
yeah,
We need
it makes
background.
sense.
We need background. We need backstories, and we need all that stuff. And there's some people who just go to the movies to see people fly around and throw stuff at each other. So
And blow
okay,
people's heads up
right,
when they
Right.
take away them.
and turn heroes into string cheese. Yes, okay,
Right.
I'm with
Okay. Okay.
Hanako, I would never forget that. She turned Mr. Fantastic into
I
string
mean,
cheese.
that's
That was
literally.
brilliant.
I was like, that's what
Brilliant.
she was doing. And all of his, like, all of the little pieces were still wiggling, like he was trying to put himself back together. And I was just like, it was actually a horrifying death. I was like, oh, I don't.
That sounds painful.
It does, and it looked painful.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the way that when he tried to appeal to her, and she was like, "Is their mother still alive?" And he was like,
Oh my God, that
"Yes." And it's
chilled
almost
me.
like he hesitated because he knew he was about to get his ass whooped. He was like, yes. I'm gonna be honest though, I kind of expected Emily Blunt to kind of come in somewhere or show up somewhere and
Throw a force field around her.
right, or something, but I was like, when she said good, that means there'll be someone there to take care of them. I was like,
That shit.
I will say I was a little disappointed that Captain Marvel didn't get a spectacular death. She just got crushed. Which,
what was her? Oh, you mean just any spectacular death?
yeah,
Or
she
was
just got
okay.
just a statue fell on her.
Yeah.
That was sort of lackluster
Yeah.
based on all the other deaths.
But I guess my question is, because again, I'm not too familiar with Captain Marvel's character. Is that something that would have actually killed her? Because I thought her character will,
Yeah,
you know,
that was one of the plot holes my coworker pointed out. He's like, all that crap she was doing, and she gets crushed by a statue.
Okay.
That seemed a little.
And I realized she
Okay.
probably had the wind knocked out of her. I mean, Wanda was kind of throwing her around everywhere, but it was just kind of like when it fell on her and her arm just kind of flopped. I was like, that's it.
I mean, she
Like,
could have
I
just been
thought
knocked
Captain-
out because, I mean, yeah, she probably
Yeah.
it's still possible that she could have just been knocked out
Okay.
because she has the power of whatever Infinity Stone was powering her. She still has some of the Power Stone in her, so it's like it's
Okay.
possible.
And
It's still
Mordo is
possible
still
that she's
alive,
just not.
so he could have gone up there and found her. I would hate to be the coworker that has to go and find your people like that. You know what it kind of reminded me of, that whole scene with Wanda killing everybody. It reminded me of the end of episode 1 of Invincible. That's what it reminded me
Yeah,
of.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
absolutely
like,
right.
oh,
So
okay.
then they're all going to say that Mordo did it then, because he's the only one that survived.
Right, and Wanda and Doctor Strange.
No, because the doctor's there. She'll
That's
say
right.
that.
She'll
Oh,
vouch for him.
Christine, yeah.
Christine.
Christine.
But you know who should really feel like a jerk is Mordo. He's sitting down there making jokes and fucking around with Strange while his people are dying. And like, what was the last thing he said? Like, the last thing he said was, "Now I see why your Mordo didn't like you. You're an asshole." Like, dude, your people are
He
being
just literally
slaughtered.
told you that your friends are dead. He was like, yeah, they're not coming. And you hear everything that's going on. Why were you so preoccupied with, like, and I understand his whole argument about, we found that the biggest threat to the multiverse is Doctor Strange. It don't sound like that in the next room. Dude, go help your people. You're the source. You're the fucking sorcerer supreme. Go help your people and figure this shit out. But yeah, no. Yeah, this movie kind of cemented for me, and I realized he's a mortal from another universe. But yeah, his character is annoying. Like the self-righteousness that comes off of him is like so repellent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I don't like his character. Like, I almost wanted his character to die. Like, yeah, you need to go and die. But I don't know. I guess he's gonna serve a bigger purpose in the story. Whatever.
Probably not.
Let's talk about a Sorcerer Supreme I do like. When I tell y'all, Wong was so badass in this movie, especially when they were fighting against the one-eyed octopus thingy. The way he came in and he was sliding in his moves, I was like, okay, this is the Wong I have been waiting to see. The one that is kicking ass and doing the martial arts. It was so good. And I also loved the dynamic with him and Steven in this movie, because we saw how they met in the first Doctor Strange, and they seemed friendly enough, but again, Steven was still on his kind of high horse back then. And then we see them in Spider-Man No Way Home, and Wong just looks kind of grouchy, and it could have been the whole thing of everybody disappearing for 5 years and coming back and trying to readjust and trying to fix things. So I can understand that. In this one, even with the serious nature of what they were doing, even when they were fighting against Wanda, defending Carmitage, I felt a little bit more of a friendship with those two, and I felt like a better understanding of those two. Like, I feel like Wong at this point knew who Steven was and accepted him the way that he was, instead of trying to make him, okay, you could be a better sorcerer, you could be better this. And I just felt like it was more of an accepting of the roles that each of them have. Like, the joke got brought in again about Doctor Strange not being the Sorcerer Supreme when he's supposed to be the Sorcerer Supreme. And, just the little lighthearted moments about it. I talk about it all the time, how I like when they infuse humor into all the seriousness. And we did get a lot of that in this film, which was great, because I feel like we needed it. Because other than that, I think I would have been too emotionally destroyed by this film without all of it. But I love him in this film. I was like, yes, when are we getting more Wong? When is Shang-Chi 2 coming out? Because, we saw him in the end credits for Shang-Chi. Like, I just need to know, when are we going to see Wong again? Because I'm here for it.
And like the whole running joke about, you're supposed to be bowing to me. I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. I was like, oh, I was like, you can still see. And I love how throughout the whole movie, they kept asking him if he was happy. And it's like, I thought that was just, and again, this is Marvel tackling mental health. And it's like, I'm really starting to wonder, like, what made, like, they've really done a good job of tackling and exposing different aspects of mental health. Like, this is like denying, like, not taking care of yourself, not acknowledging that you're not happy, instead of just putting on a facade saying, yeah, I'm happy, yeah, I'm fine. But it's like, you're really not, and you have some things that you need to deal with. And that really struck me too. And I'm glad that Wong finally got his bow from Steven at the end. Even though I was worried about Wong, I thought that when Wanda threw him off the edge, I was like, no. I was scared.
Looking at the screen, I was like, y'all, that better not be how he dies. That better
but you
not
did
be
not.
We didn't see his body, so you knew he wasn't dead.
Right.
But I wanted to piggyback real quick before we leave this subject about the mental health stuff. We had Wanda dealing with her grief, because she even mentioned that she had to pull the stone out. She blew a hole in Vision's head or whatever. And then I was thinking, Doctor Strange, Steven, he's grieving too. And I was thinking about the What If episode. He was basically grieving over losing Christine. And then we find out, the other Stephen Strange was like, I looked in all the universes to see where I was happy with her. And it doesn't exist. Like, nowhere does he have a happy life with Christine. And so it brings home the fact that, once again, like Mike said, Marvel bringing in this mental health thing, and he was not okay, and it was something that he had to learn how to do with it. He just wasn't going to be happy, And even when he finds a Christine that he could be happy with, he can't be with her because she's in a different universe.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just.
And I love how they symbolized it with him replacing the crystal on his watch at the end. It's like he's finally ready to start fixing himself instead of looking at himself as broken. Yeah. Like he can actually start making himself whole again. But then he goes and grows a third eye because he was fucking with the Darkhold. It's like,
I have questions about that because Stephen Strange's early appearances in the comic book, that was a power of his. So in the comic book, that was before.
That's what I was thinking too. He had a third eye.
He had always had a third eye. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting because that may not necessarily be from the Darkhold.
Okay.
Or the Darkhold just like allowed it to manifest itself. Like he was like maybe he did it. There wasn't anything to kind of provoke it to come forth or something like that.
Yeah, like maybe his power, his awareness has expanded, especially with knowledge of the multiverse.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about all the different Stephen Stranges, because we got quite a few of them in this show, in this movie. The one with
it's just like Marvel to tease us with the Defender Strange and him only being in the movie for him only being alive in the movie for like 5 minutes, but he does eventually come back. But still,
you talking about Ponytail Strange?
Yeah, slick back Strange, like Pat Riley Strange. That's what they kind of like Pat Riley.
They call that. That's the Defender Strange. That's what the toy is
Defender
called.
Strange. Yeah, that's why I said Defender Strange.
Yeah. But I
didn't know. So
he did kind of look like he had a ponytail though. He kind of looked like a ponytail douchebag. Like he was
I will.
Dr. Strange said it. He said so. In one multiverse, I have a ponytail. He was like, oh.
I will say, when you watch the trailers, I thought the trailers made it seem like Doctor Strange would be the villain, would be the big bad.
I can see that. Mm-hmm. But
I thought maybe he was
Wanda.
That he was
especially the one, the gray one. The gray one looked like he was going to be the one.
Zombie Strange. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but it looked like
not that one. The one that was in the house with the
Sinister Strange.
Sinister Strange. I thought he was going to be the one that was trapped in the little miniverse.
Strange Supreme.
I thought he was going to be that guy.
Yeah.
No,
we didn't see Strange Supreme.
He's busy. He's got to watch.
He has to watch Killmonger and
Ultron.
What's his name? Zabra, whatever his name is. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Zombie Strange. That was an interesting. I don't even know where to go. Awesome. I don't even know where to start with that. I mean,
Sam Raimi again.
Yeah.
Right in his wheelhouse.
Even just the makeup with them, the kind of humor that, like, you're taking over a dead version of yourself, and you're still trying to be funny, but you're trying to be, do what you need to do to kind of defeat this this witch. And it's so funny because when he turns the what do you call those things?
Those souls, those spirits.
There you go. When he turns them into the bat wing, into the wings, and starts flying, I was like,
that was crazy.
That's kind of awesome. And then when Wong sees him, he was like, okay, Strange, I don't even want to know. Just keep doing what you're doing. Like, I'm not asking any questions at this point. Like,
it's like you literally get the impression that Wong says that on a consistent basis. Like, it's literally like,
yes.
Yeah, like he's walking down the hall looking in the bathroom. He's like, I don't want to know. And just keeps going. He's like, he sees Strange like walking a dragon. He's like, I don't want to know. Right. Just take him back.
Yeah. You know what's around and this third eye comes out. You know what?
I don't want to know. No. What what is funny is Wong says, "Oh yeah, it's in the book that only the Sorcerer Supremes get to read," and but he never read them. So it's like he became Sorcerer Supreme. He's like that kid who was always reading all the books and was the smartest kid in class. And then when he became valedictorian, he just stopped reading. And that's Stephen Strange. He's like, "Oh, I'm Sorcerer Supreme. I don't need to read those books.
Yep,
it's not important."
Yeah.
But of course, Wong read them because he was a librarian, so he probably
I was just
already
about to say that too. Yeah. And remember when Stephen became like source, you know, when he started learning to be a sorcerer, he was one track. He just wanted to fix his hands. That's it.
Right.
And I find it interesting that he has all of this power now and his hands are still not fixed. We see that when Christine, 838, Christine takes a scan of his hands and she was like, oh, you know, it's kind of sort of the same, but there are differences and his hands are still broken. I thought that was very interesting. Like, and maybe he's doing that on purpose because he knows if he fixes his hands, maybe I don't know.
I think because I'm like you, I just watched the first one, and when the Ancient One showed him like everything, he stopped thinking about his hands. He was like, oh, I want to learn this. So I don't think he's concerned about his hands anymore because that's sort of like, that's something that is like beneath where he is now.
I think that's where he is now. Yeah. But even in that first movie, at some point, once he realizes that, you know, what was it that they say he was meant to be a sorcerer, you know, because he took to the power and they were like, you have this destiny. He was like, I didn't ask for destiny. I just wanted to fix my hands. Like, I don't want to have to deal with any of this. Like, he really was trying to walk away at one point because he was like, this is not what I signed up for.
It isn't, but that scene though was very telling where he's like, teach me. Like, I want to know all of this stuff. Yeah. And that's sort of, you know, where his mind is at. But even then, he was still sort of unsure of himself. And I think the Ancient One said that he was a little unsure of himself. So anyway,
but, okay, so we got Defender Strange, we got Zombie Strange, we got Sinister Strange. Why do I feel like we're missing somebody?
I think that was it. Okay. The Strange, Darkhold Strange, the Strange that sacrifice that use a Darkhold, that the one from the 838 universe, that Black Bolt destroyed.
That Black Bolt, yeah.
Oh yes,
spoke out of existence.
Yeah, because he was using the Darkhold.
Okay,
which is interesting because didn't they use the Book of Vishanti to defeat Thanos?
Yes, I think that's what they said.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like, I still can't figure out why they killed him.
Who, Stephen Strange? That Stephen one. Strange? Because I think they said that he felt like he was still a danger to the rest of the universe. Like, he would probably still use the Darkhold to try to do whatever it was. You know, that's the one thing I don't like about going to the movies now, because I can't sit there, freeze it, and write notes and take notes.
I got to see it again.
Right. So I think that's what it was. He said that he was still a danger, you know, but
real quick, I want to talk about the fight between Sinister Strange and 616 Strange with the music notes. I think every music band geek lost their freaking mind.
Amazing.
Watching that fight.
That fight was amazing because, again, when you see it, you know, they're kind of throwing each other around, and then Doctor Strange I don't even know, Doctor Strange won.
616.
616 Strange. He, you know, there's like there's sheet music kind of floating, and he uses his magic to lift the notes up, and he starts throwing the notes at Sinister Strange. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then Sinister Strange picks them up with his magic and he throws them back, and then you have them making like the staff.
He literally threw a staff and put the notes on the staff and threw them back at 616. That was amazing.
That whole sequence was amazing. And then, of course, you have the evil music. I was like, what is
and then the one note from the harp takes care of all that.
That was hilarious because he takes that note and it's just going and it's very silent. I was like, what is this one little thing about to do? Boom. I was like, oh, okay. That scene was amazing. I've never seen anything like that. That was amazing. And then, of course, that Strange gets shish kebabbed.
Oh, that should look painful.
I jumped. I think I jumped when Christine jumped when the third eye opened.
I did too. I was expecting like him to just kind of like open up. So the third eye was just kind of unexpected because I was expecting him to just fully be like, or
just be like, get me off of this thing. Hey, get me off this fence. And Christine just like walking off like,
And he was bad because what did he say? He hated himself, so he would go to the different universes and kill.
No, he realized that they would never be happy. So to keep his other selves from being unhappy, he started going to other multiverses and killing versions of himself. Like, and he was like, yeah, so that dream you had about being thrown off a tall building, yeah, that was probably me. I was like, how sadistic is that? Like, you know that you're not going to be happy, but instead of just killing yourself and being done with it, no, you're going to go kill it. Like watching Jet Li in The One. Like, I'm going to go to all these different multiverses and take the powers of all my other selves and kill them and get their power. That was kind of like what he was doing, except he wasn't getting anything. He was just like, yeah, let me flick you off this curve. Let me flick you off this cliff. Let me push you off here. He was just doing it for whatever. I don't even think he was getting any satisfaction out of it. He was just like, okay, well, we're destined to be unhappy, so why not just end it?
Just being a douchebag.
And then
but he got what he deserved. It's all good.
He was like, how about this? I'll give you the dark hole. You give me your Christine. And Strange was like, yeah, she ain't going for that. Like, first of all, she married to a whole other dude, which is weird. Like, you invited, well, I don't know. I mean, they had a pretty decent friendship. I will say this, up until I saw What If, I guess even when I saw What If, I didn't feel that was like,
they've always seen
in that first movie.
They've always seemed like friends. They always seem like just friends. They never seem like there's more to it. It's like, it's just not right. You're like,
right. No. It just felt weird because the way you're introduced to them, like they're making this joke, and she makes this light joke about, having a no dating at work policy. It's called the Strange policy. I thought that, the way that she came across it was a little more casual, like, oh, okay, yeah, I been there, done that, no, not to do that again. But then to see like the different little things, like the inscription on the back of the watch, like, what was it? Only time will tell my love for you. And I was like, wait, was this supposed to be deeper? And then to watch it in What If, when he literally was playing this whole thing out, like literally destroyed other universes trying to save her. And I was like, I just didn't get that vibe from them. But
especially in this movie, even when they were trying to get close, and they're like when they were like talking, and you kind of almost had the inkling that they were going to try to do something. You were like, nah, they ain't doing shit, and just going back 616.
I kind of figured that with those two, because one, they were from two different worlds, and she had already had her kind of experience with her Doctor Strange, but it was just, I don't know, it was just very strange. Like, I do feel like there was probably a little, I don't know, maybe because I knew to expect it, because I realized now after watching What If exactly how much she meant to him. But like, even at the wedding, it was just kind of a weird vibe. Like, I could kind of feel the tension a little bit more there, but I also feel like it was more, he was in love with her more than she was ever in love with him, So that's just kind of that vibe that I got.
Yeah, I kind of get that too.
She loved him, but she knew that it was never going to work for him. So she just kind of locked that part away, but he just never let go of it. I feel like that's kind of how it was with them. Like, she was his one true love, and he was just like one of her loves.
That's probably why it never worked in any of the universes. Is this the way the type of person he is? She knew that at whatever relationship they had wouldn't be really worth it.
Yeah. So,
because he is sort of a person that sort of obsesses over his talent and his abilities more so than individual.
Right.
But maybe this Strange has learned.
We can only hope.
Maybe.
I mean, when you go to another multiverse, when you go to another universe and you find out the fate of your counterpart because of that obsession with power and with being in control or holding the knife, always being the one to hold the knife, then yeah, maybe that will make him take a step back and say, okay, you know what, maybe I need to do things a little bit differently, you know. But
yeah, you know, he even he can learn a little bit sometimes.
That's true. We all.
Oh, I'm being reminded that he had a wall up because of his sister. That's why they never got close.
Yeah, that was the strange thing too. Like they just kind of threw that in there, and I was like, wait, what? But I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense. But you know, and I guess they threw that in there to kind of explain that. But still, it was just like, I don't know. I just don't feel them as happily ever after or my true love. I just didn't get that vibe from them. You know?
Yeah, but that is from the comic books that he had a sister that died, and he couldn't save her.
Okay. Is that what drove him into medicine?
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. All right. I mean, and it also makes sense the fact that he always felt like he had to be the best. He always had to be the one to save because he's overcompensating for that one loss. So
and he doesn't want to lose anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
He like when he killed that guy in the first one, that really bothered him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to kill anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and he even says that in that first movie when they were talking about, oh, it's war with Caecilius and everything, he was like, no, I took an oath. I'm not about to kill you. No, this is not, and that was the other part where he was like, this is not what I signed up for. You know, I just wanted to come and fix my hand so I could continue helping people. So
not killing people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, but in this one, I guess you could say he's kind of resigned to the fact that, okay, we may have to do a little killing in order to get some things done. I don't think he's still okay with it, but like, I feel like once he saw that Wanda was kind of beyond reach, he was to that point where he was like, okay, we're going to need to take her down. And then even the brief moment where he thought he was going to have to kill America to take her power, you know, after Wong suggested it. Because I mean, I think he looked at it like, if Wong is suggesting this, then maybe there is no other way, because I don't think Wong would just, you know, carelessly say, okay, we got to kill this girl. Because again, she is a teenager. She's a kid. And she has this huge power and also kind of a huge burden with that. You know, can you imagine being the one person who could travel through all the multiverses? Wanda is not going to be the last person to come after her. At least that's how I feel. You know, but now that she can control her power.
Well, it's like Dr. Strange said, she could control it the whole time because she kept putting them where they needed to be.
Right.
So,
yeah. But this movie was there was so much to unpack in this movie.
We may have to do another show. We got to do another show. We got to do another show when Lori watches it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. I just want to hear her reaction to the Illuminati and to John Krasinski. You know she's going to be spoiled because you know she goes and looks for spoilers because it's going to be at least a month and a half, 2 months before she even gets to watch this.
Did you do research into the 616 Illuminati who's in it? Even though this universe can't have it now because one of the members is dead.
Which one?
Tony Stark.
Okay.
So it's Tony Stark, Namor, Reed Richards, Doctor Strange,
T'Challa.
Yeah.
Now, did I hear something about Namor is supposed to be? He's supposed to be the
Namor's in Wakanda forever.
Okay.
To be in Wakanda forever. Yes.
Okay.
All right, here
that,
it is.
That was the earthquake in the ocean that they were investigating. In was that Infinity War?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So in the 616 Illuminati, Black Bolt,
And Black Bolt,
Captain America, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Medusa, Namor, Professor X, Beast, Black Bolt, Black Panther, Captain Britain, Amadeus Cho, Doc Green, Mr. Fantastic, and Yellow Jacket.
That's a
those
lot
are all time members. Those aren't like those.
At some point,
at some point, yeah. I was like that. That's because the group that sent the Hulk away during Planet Hulk was Namor, Black Bolt, Strange, Tony Stark, and maybe I think that's it, because Captain America wasn't on that group.
Okay.
That was the dumbest decision the Illuminati ever made. Was to send the Hulk away. That was.
Yeah, you're right. Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Professor X, Dr. Strange, Black Bolt, and Namor were the originals.
Okay.
Yeah.
All men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But at least the 838 version had women on it.
Had two.
Yeah.
2.
I think in that list you only had Medusa.
I had Captain Marvel in there somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What else do we need?
Because Captain Marvel. Well, no, I'm thinking about Civil War. Never mind. I'm wrong. Never mind. Ignore me. Yeah, because I was thinking about. I thought Captain Marvel was in it. For some reason, I still think, but I think I'm thinking about Civil War. So that's something entirely different.
Okay. What else do we need to talk about with this movie? Because it's like there was so much going on. I know we talked about all the different Stranges. We kind of touched on the whole Strange and Christine. We talked about America Chavez. We talked about Wanda. Do we need to talk about Wanda some more?
No.
Okay.
We don't.
I feel bad for Wanda, because she was taken from her kids. She was possessed by the Scarlet Witch, and it's like she went through all this other stuff. And I actually felt bad for the Scarlet Witch when at the end, when she was trying to talk to the boys and they were scared as shit of her and ran away from her.
That's kind of what needed to happen, because other than that, she would have kept on trying. And it's one of the things that she says is that my boys exist in every other universe except for this one. It's like, so what are you going to do? Go to each multiverse and then, try to get in there until you find one that fits? And what was it Dr. Strange said? So what happens to their mother? Right. Those are your children, but still you don't have the shared experiences with those children from those other multiverses. And at some point they're going to realize something is wrong. And when they come into those powers and you have that one that can kind of read minds, you're going to have some issues. So I did feel sorry for her. I felt so bad for her because, again, I feel like Wanda has not had time to breathe, and then you also think about, she did mention Vision in this movie, even though she didn't say him by name, but she said, what was it? She told Dr. Strange, she was like, nothing of my pain. She said, I had to kill the man I loved, and it was for nothing. Because what happened? Thanos brought him right back to life and then killed him before her eyes.
Because you gave him, and she was mad at him for giving him the time stone too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked.
But again, that was the only way he saw that they could win. They had to go through those sacrifices, because if he didn't and they tried it any of the other ways, they would have lost. And that it's funny because when they talked about defeating Thanos, I completely missed Thanos's body on the side in the first time I watched the movie. It wasn't until the second time, and I was like, oh, he's dead. Yeah, he's right there.
Handle him.
Right. But
that's probably what really made him. He had to probably get so powered up for that whoever he did was probably why they killed him.
No, he used the book of Vicente to do it. And that book gives you whatever power you need to defeat your opponent. So he didn't use the Dark Hole. He was going to, but he had stopped.
But
I
he
think
had
that's what he
probably
said.
at that point already been corrupted enough
Yeah.
by the dark code that he knew that, you know, even if he says, okay, yeah, you guys keep the dark code, I'm not going to touch it again. I think when you've been that connected to something that evil or that powerful, that connection is still going to be there, and it's going to be drawing.
Because his fingers are already black from using
like,
it. So just like Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
And Scarlet Witch, like her fingers were black too, like almost half black.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Shout out to Bruce Campbell for making his appearance and beating the shit out of himself for like 3 months.
That second post credit
3 weeks
was so silly because he's sitting there punching himself and he was like, "Oh, it's over!" Like telling us, "Okay, go."
And remember, in The Evil Dead, his hand was possessed and was attacking him. He had to cut it off.
Yeah.
That
was awesome.
So let's talk about Charlize and her glorious cameo. Because am I correct in assuming that she is the character of Clea Strange?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know I know the first time that we saw the film, I heard other people whispering that she was I can't think of the character's name right now. The character that Olivia Munn played in Apocalypse.
Psylocke?
Yes.
Psylocke? No,
yes,
that's
what
different.
Some people were saying in the theater, and I was like, "Oh,
no,
okay,
that's way different."
Yeah, and then when I saw it the second time, I was like, let me go see who she is. I said, because that doesn't even seem like it's the same character. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, okay. So Clea Strange, I don't think she's Clea Strange now. She's Clea somebody, but she eventually becomes his wife. And did I read correctly? Sorcerer Supreme as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And she's a member of the Defenders, so they're probably getting ready to bring in the Defenders at some point in time too.
Oh, and isn't she also the daughter of Dormammu's sister?
Mm-hmm. Well, she's related to she's in the Dormammu family tree.
Yes.
Wow.
And she's affiliated with the Illuminati and the Midnight Suns. If I don't get my Midnight Suns TV series, I swear to
You know what's interesting? That there was a rumor that Dormammu actually might be a strange variant.
Huh.
And then that would mean that that's like really his sister, and then it would be really weird. That would be his sister's child.
Wow.
His Dormammu variant, Dormammu that actually a strange variant that figured out how to implode the multiverses for his own power.
Okay.
Using the Darkhold.
Okay. Now,
anyway, that's not a theory. That was rumor that I heard.
Sure sound like a theory.
I didn't come up with that.
I was really close.
I didn't come up with that.
Well, he said he didn't come up with it, so I'll take his word for it this time. Are we getting a third Doctor Strange movie?
Yeah, because didn't they say Doctor Strange will return?
Yeah, they always say they'll return, but they don't say when they'll return. So he could show up in Ant-Man. He could show up in,
show up in Loki season 2. He could show up in Midnight Suns. I mean, he could basically show up anywhere. I mean, it could. I mean, there could be. I mean, because it took them so long to make the second Doctor Strange movie. I mean, maybe
that was because of COVID. So
yeah,
they've kind of lifted a lot of those restrictions. I think they do still have some COVID filming restrictions, but it's not like it used to be. So, I don't think it would take as long now. But I know that they have a whole bunch of other things in the Marvel pipeline. But yeah, I want to know where he's going to show up next. But also, I guess I want to see what direction this phase 4 is going in, because it's kind of one of the things I've seen people saying online is kind of all over the place right now, which I do agree with, but I also think it's because, when they were first building the Infinity Saga, you had this over here and this over here and this over here, and you didn't really see how those were going to connect at first. So I kind of feel like that's what they're doing here too. Of course, we know Black Widow isn't going to be part of that, even though she's technically in this phase 4. But you've got Shang-Chi, you've got the Eternals, you've got Doctor Strange, you've got Wanda. At some point, all of these are going to converge, right?
I'm seeing building blocks. I said it earlier. I'm seeing the building blocks for Secret Wars.
Okay,
is what I'm seeing. When they start talking about the multiverses imploding on each other, and we have different variants of different characters, I'm starting to see that this once they get past Secret Invasion, definitely it's good. I think it's going to depend on what Ant-Man looks like and Kang.
Yeah.
So how and I think that's going to basically tell us whether or not it's going to be Secret Wars.
Okay. All right, so we're going to write that down. This is what Anthony's theory is.
It's not a theory.
Yep. Put it on the board.
Building blocks. And I bet we won't see Strange until something like that happens. So it might be after Ant-Man.
Okay. All right. What's next on the Marvel list? Is it Thor, Love and Thunder?
Yeah, Thor, Love and Thunder, then Miss Marvel, then...
That Thor trailer looks so good. I'm so stoked to see Natalie Portman, because when you saw that final shot of her, I was like, look at her arms.
Did you see the ET picture?
Yes.
Yeah, she put in work. I can't wait to see that.
I can't wait to see it. It looks like it's going to be so much fun. This whole thing with I don't know what this is with Thor and Peter Quill, but that whole dynamic looks so fun. Oh, I can't wait to see it.
See, of course, it'll be just our luck that Peter Quill and then the Guardians are only in it for like 10 minutes. Then they take off and go somewhere. And then next thing you know, it's just the rest of it is just Thor looking for Jane and all the other shit.
And Gore, the god
and looking for Gore, yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be good. I mean, Taiki knows what he's doing.
I'm just ready to see what's his name is Zeus. I'm just stoked for that.
Russell Crowe. Yeah.
Russell Crowe is Zeus. Yes. That's gonna be funny.
Yes.
Yeah, because I seen him from the back. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Because he looked huge. I was like, he must be good. That must be CGI. Because he was like his back was like that big. Like shit.
Well,
but yeah, it looks good.
It's not like he's never worked out for a role before. I mean, but yeah, they might have added just a little extra on there. But
yeah, a little padding. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. God, Quantumania's next year, and Wakanda Forever's later this year too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's November.
Is it November?
I think it's November. Yeah. So yeah.
And then Miss Marvel is gonna be like late
in between
summer.
there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we still got She-Hulk coming out this year, I think. So yeah.
I think I'm waiting for I want to see She-Hulk. I think She-Hulk's one of the things I really want to see. Only because I know them. I know Matt's gonna be in it. I know, as like I want to see how much of the Netflix verse they're going to put in it, because I know they're going to put Matt in it. But I heard rumors that Jessica Jones might make an appearance in it too.
I heard that rumor too. So
it'll be interesting to see how they do that.
So
yeah,
okay.
Be good to see She-Hulk and Jessica Jones like exchanging punches for a second. That'd be kind of dope. Because I'm already teased by the little bit they let us see of Banner and her like talking and like him doing something, them like experimenting or doing something. So
I don't think I've seen that. I think I've only seen like the
it's like the partial clip they put out when they announced everything.
Oh, okay.
But it was only like 10-15 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen much of it, and I think I might try to stay away from it just because I want to be more surprised. Like I said, I was a little disappointed by that little Captain Carter reveal in that last trailer for so, but you know, my instinct is to always new trailer, just because at that point I'm wanting more content, you know. But like I said, they released this maybe a week before the film came out, and I think I'm gonna stop watching those last trailers just so I can be surprised, because I think I saw somewhere online that even Kevin Feige said that they put more in the trailers than he wanted revealed.
Yeah, he was kind of upset about that. So he's reining that shit in.
Yeah, but that's okay because I still enjoyed it. You know,
he needs to make like Shuma McGrath and keep an eye out.
And on that note, that's gonna be it for this show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can watch our videos on YouTube and listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.